It has been a long time since I've done a video, and I wanted to show you guys some physical media that I picked up recently because I really didn't have any other video ideas right now. And there's a good bit. There's enough here for me to do a video on it, so let's check them out. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Horror Bloody Horror YouTube channel. Now, I wanted to do a physical media video because I've picked up a good bit recently. As most of you probably already know, I live by a disc replay. If you don't know what a disc replay is, it's basically a pawn shop, and they have really good deals on horror movies. Every once in a while, you'll find some hidden gems there. And I've picked up a good bit recently, and I thought I might as well do a physical media video because I haven't done one in a few years maybe. I mean, I used to do these like monthly or even every 5-6 months. I would show you guys my updated horror physical media collection, and I haven't done that in a while, and I thought I might as well go ahead and do one. So the first movie I want to show you guys is an Arrow box set. I seen this movie for the first time on The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. If you guys don't know who Joe Bob Briggs is, then why are you even subbed to my channel? And that movie is Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. Now, this movie is very fun. It's a parody sort of Phantom of the Opera, of course, but it takes place in a mall, and it's called Eric's Revenge, so it sounds like it's a sequel, but this is not a sequel. This is just a standalone horror film. And let me just say that Arrow does a great job on these box sets. I mean, they're sturdy boxes. You get a poster, a booklet, the movie. I mean, this is how every movie should be released, in my opinion. See, you got a poster here, you got a booklet, and this is a pretty thick booklet, man. And, of course, you get the movie, which I think is a new 2K scan of Phantom of the Mall. So this movie looks great. Probably the best it's ever going to look. So if you guys have any Arrow releases, you know how good these releases are. And if you've seen Phantom of the Mall, you know it's a fun movie. And I'm glad I got this at Disc Replay because online I think it's like a $40 box set, and I spent like $20 on this. So very happy with this pickup. And I believe the same day that I picked up Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, I also picked up Society, a Brian Usna film that's very weird. And I seen this movie, I think, twice. I seen it a long time ago and recently, so I can't speak on it too much, but this movie is just weird. The last act of the movie had me going, what the heck is going on? Brian Usna is a great film director, though. He did Bride, a Reanimator, I believe. He did Return of the Living Dead 3, Society, obviously. Such a good movie. Glad I picked it up. I'm glad they had it. And I actually want to watch this one again because I can't get that last act out of my head. And that guy that was just a butthole.
Well, son, I guess you're right. I am a butthead.
And now on to the last Arrow title that I picked up recently. It is a 4K. It's one of my favorite horror movies from the 90s, and that's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein here on 4K. Came across this at Disc Replay, was going to order the 4K, and I'm glad I didn't because I paid like $15 for this 4K, which is a steal. Robert De Niro's performance as the monster is amazing. This whole film is just a beautifully shot movie, and I'm so happy to have it in my collection, and it looks so good on 4K. So if you guys are a fan of this movie, definitely get the 4K from Arrow because it looks amazing. If you guys own any 4Ks from Arrow, you guys know that the picture quality is going to be really good, and this is one of them. Fantastic release. Now we're on to some Scream Factory titles. You guys know that I love Scream Factory, and I got 5 here. So let's get right into it. First up, It's Alive, Larry Cohen film that's so good, so weird. I've seen this movie once, and it was recently. I've actually watched this entire trilogy once. And very well-made movies. I like the first two the best, but the third one's kind of, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But It's Alive, such a good movie. Great Larry Cohen film from 1974, I believe. This says 1973. It's 1973 or 1974, but great movie. And, of course, if I have It's Alive, I gotta have It's Alive 2, also directed by Larry Cohen. This one's kind of just more of the first one, in my opinion, except for there's more babies, I believe. If memory serves correctly. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there's more babies in this one. But yeah, it's pretty much more the same, and I think it's a pretty good sequel. I don't know what Larry Cohen was thinking when he made this one, but It's Alive 3, Island of the Alive. It's fun at times, not great though. There's like a buff baby in this movie. I'll pull up a picture of it. But I don't know what he was thinking when he made this movie, because the first two were so good. This one was just very much a big step down. But I enjoyed it for what it is. I don't think it's awful. It's a fun trilogy, but this one was just weird. Up next is a movie that I ordered not too long ago, and that's the 1976 King Kong movie. I'm a big King Kong fan. My favorite King Kong is the 33 original film, but my second favorite Kong movie is the 76 Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange film. This movie, I love it. I remember the first time I seen it, I was hooked immediately. I still love this movie. I'm a King Kong fan, but I only really care about 2 of the movies, and this one is just so good. I love how Kong looks in this movie. I love everything about this movie. This movie, to me, is a bag of chips and more. It's not just a remake. It's also its own movie, and it's so good. If you haven't seen King Kong 76, check it out. I love this movie. I almost forgot about this. That's what I love about Scream Factory. You have the reversible artwork, and look at the original poster. Look at this, King Kong 76. Look at that artwork. Like, it's perfect. I just love this movie. But now that I think about it, I think pretty much every King Kong fan loves this movie. I mean, it's just so good. This next movie is one of my favorite horror comedies, but I've only seen it a few times, honestly, and that's Idle Hands. Actually, the first time I watched this movie, I don't think I even watched it all the way through because I just wasn't into it. My second watch was a lot better, and then I brought this Blu-ray and just fell in love with the movie even more. Devon Sawa's great in this. Seth Green's great in this. Jessica Alba's great in this. I mean, this whole movie is just hilarious. I feel like it's just one of those movies that you have to see. I don't have a lot to say about it, but just watch it if you haven't seen it because it really is funny. This next movie for me is actually hard to watch. It's not one that I watch all the time due to the fact that it's just so hard to watch, and that's 1978's I Spit on Your Grave. Anything to do with rape just bothers me. It's hard for me to watch. Now, of course, I love the revenge stuff. I'm glad that, I think her name was Jennifer in the film. I'm glad that she gets her revenge, but man, these movies are just so hard to watch. I mean, this is like, I think the reason that it gets under my skin so much is because it's realistic horror. This is stuff that actually happens, and I think that's why it bothers me so much. But don't get me wrong, I Spit on Your Grave is a great revenge horror story, and it's a good movie. It's just not easy to watch. I don't know if this next movie is really appropriate, but It Comes at Night. A24 movie that I seen one time, enjoyed it, and I don't really have a lot to say, but I don't know if this was the appropriate movie to show next. This next movie is one of my favorite vampire movies of all time, and that is Vamp, starring Grace Jones. This movie is so good. It's kind of one of those movies where it's hard to explain. It's kooky, but it's serious. It's a lot of fun. It's a movie that will brand itself into your brain. Like, you'll watch it, and you just won't forget about it. I wouldn't say that the movie's necessarily a masterpiece. It's really good, though, but I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece. But it's one of those movies where you watch it, and then you just can't forget about it. But Vamp is a great movie. Up next is Humanoids from the Deep. Now, for the longest time, I thought Roger Corman actually directed this movie. Of course, he didn't. It was Barbara Peters, I think? So a female director, which is really cool. Humanoids from the Deep is an amazing creature feature, one of my favorites actually, and I just found this movie in recent years. I don't know why it took me so long to watch this movie, but hey, better late than never, right? But this movie's so good. If you guys haven't seen Humanoids from the Deep and you're a creature feature fan, this is a must watch. Oh, this movie is a great Eli Roth movie that came out last year. I think most people have seen this. It was talked about a lot last year, and that's Thanksgiving. Great slasher film. Can't wait for Thanksgiving 2. Very creative kills. Thanksgiving is a very unique slasher film in my opinion. Eli Roth himself is just a great writer and director. But yeah, this is a great slasher film. I can't wait for the sequel. I love when I find slasher movies that do things different. They don't follow the basic horror tropes and do things that we've seen a million times. And Thanksgiving is one of those movies that does different, unique kills, and I love it for that. And I had a blast seeing this movie in the theaters, and what else can I say about Thanksgiving? Everyone has seen this. The horror community loves this movie. We love John Carver, and we can't wait for the sequel. And the next movie I'm going to talk about is a prequel, and that's Orphan First Kill that came out in 2022. I think it was exclusively on Paramount Plus. It didn't go to theaters. Great prequel movie. I think the original Orphan from, what was it, 2009 or 2010, something like that. Fantastic movie, has one of the best twists in a horror movie ever. But this was a good prequel. I had a great time watching this movie, but I've only seen it like once or twice, so I need to rewatch it. Picked it up recently because I just remembered enjoying it. And yeah, that's Orphan First Kill. Up next is another A24 film that I've only seen once, and that is Midsommar, or Midsummer, however you say it, directed by Ari Aster. Talented person, love his films. Hereditary is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's so good. But this one I remember I watched once, and I don't remember a ton about it. I know it's weird, just like every other Ari Aster movie ever made. But I need to rewatch it. I know it's good, but I need to rewatch it. This next movie stars Scout Taylor Compton, and I'm a big Scout Taylor Compton fan. And this movie was on Shudder, and that is The Long Night. Ordered this movie not long ago. Love it. Love the cult stuff. Love everything about this movie. I think this is one of Scout's best performances outside of the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. Say what you want about the movies. I don't care. Scout Taylor Compton's great in those, and she's really good in The Long Night. I think she's good in everything that she does, but for some reason her performance in The Long Night just stands out, and she is amazing. This movie is amazing. I remember being blown away by this movie the first time I watched it, and I had to own it, and I'm glad to have it in the collection. And up next is a show that I really enjoyed, and I had to buy it when it came out to support it on physical media because Netflix doesn't know how to release their content, and that is Wednesday Season 1. Love Jenna Ortega, great actress or actor, whatever you want to say now. But Wednesday Season 1 is so good. Can't wait for Season 2. Had to own it. I don't know why Netflix doesn't put out more of their movies and shows. I know why, honestly. They want you to subscribe and get more money. But it's like, just release these movies. People are going to buy this stuff. Wednesday Season 1, I'm sure, sold pretty well. Now we just need the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie they put out a few years ago. I don't care what anybody says about it. I want to own it. I liked it. It was good enough. Just give us more Netflix stuff. And now we are on to DVDs. Yes, I still buy DVDs. And this next one I actually found at a Big Lots for like $3, and I almost hit the mic, and that is Heroes of Horror Collection. It has some really classic... What? It has some really classic... What? It has some really classic horror films in it, like White Zombie, Invisible Ghost, Spooks Run Wild, The Devil Bat, and so many more. But for $3, a 4-disc DVD set, I wasn't going to pass this up. And it's in a tin case, which is really cool. And I didn't have any of these movies, so I was super excited to find this and buy it. And it's cool. It's got Bela Lugosi on the cover. You can't go wrong with Bela Lugosi. The next 3 movies are Full Moon features, so you know we're getting into some really kooky, cheesy, low-budget B-horror movies. And, of course, it's Killjoy. Say what you want about Killjoy. The movie's not good. But for some weird reason, I enjoy it. I don't know why. I remember the first time I watched Killjoy, and the clown himself freaked me out. I don't know why. Because this movie isn't necessarily scary. It's more funny than anything. But it just stuck with me, and I had to own it because, I don't know, I guess I'm a Killjoy fan. But I'm an even bigger fan of the sequel, Killjoy 2, because I think this movie is scary. Still, watched it recently. Not as comedic as the first movie, more horror-ish, but Killjoy 2's fun. It kind of makes me scared to go into the woods. You know, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And then we have Killjoy 3. Yep, I own Killjoy 3. It's good. I don't mind it. I even like Killjoy Goes to Hell, but sadly I don't own that yet. But yeah, that's Killjoy 3. And last but definitely least is Return of the Living Dead Rave to the Grave. Now, I picked this up recently at Disc Replay because I've been looking for it for a very long time, just because I wanted to own all 5 Return of the Living Dead movies. And I finally came across it at Disc Replay, and I was like, I'll pay $4, because online this movie's like $15, and I was like, not happening. Not paying $15 for this piece of crap, because Rave to the Grave is so bad. I mean, yeah, you got Tarman in it, but it's like a great value Tarman, and it's just, I don't know what they were thinking. Rave to the Grave is just, it's not good. It's not. So that is all of my recent physical media pickups. It was a good bit. I'm going to try to keep up with it. When I get a good stack, I'll make another video like this. But I wanted to show you guys some of the movies that I got recently because I haven't done a video like this in a long time. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. That would help me out a lot. And here soon I am going to be dropping a new HBH podcast, so keep your eye out for that. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the next video.